Hi, it's Hugh from BlogWorks, and in this quick video, I want to talk about the topics you write about in your blog. One of the things we hear a lot from our customers is they're frustrated and kind of confused to understand how to take their area of expertise. So whatever they, like whether it's leadership or customer service or conflict resolution or family planning, or anything to do with human resources or leadership, how to take that topic and sort of dissect it and chop it and dice it so that they can continue to write about the same topic. You see, if you don't do that, what happens is you confuse your followers. And if you confuse your followers, you don't get as many prospects. And if you don't get as many prospects, well, you know what happens. So in this quick video, it's how to take the same topic that you're an expert in, but dissect it so that your reader is seeing it from a different angle. It's keeping their interest up and it's continuing to bring more traffic to your site. I think you're going to really like this. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, so we're going to be looking at how to slice and dice your core topic, the thing that you are the expert in, what your clients come to buy, how we're going to slice and dice that into at least 9 different ideas or themes that you can make your post or your next blog post around. In other words, how to keep sort of coming to your audience with a different angle on the same theme. Now, let me explain to you why this is so important. When you are building blog traffic, it's really important that people understand what you're all about. Now, where I'm a big fan of people that go off on tangents and talk about, what's happening in their personal life sometimes, or if it relates to their business, or maybe bring in other authors or do interviews. But what I'm not a fan of is getting the audience really distracted. So for example, on our website, yourblogworks.com, we talk about blogging, but there's a lot of different ways that we can talk about blogging to keep our audience coming back. So let's look at an example. Imagine if you are a realtor. So pretty common skill set and career, lots and lots of realtors all over the world. But if you want to have a blog, you're going to have to get kind of creative because after a while, you need to keep finding ways to bring that audience back. Well, let's look at some different themes. So core themes could be, okay, how do I sell your home? How do I sell a home if I'm a homeowner? How do I buy a new home if I want to become a homeowner? Or money issues. So there's at least 3, and there's probably many more than that. But under each one of those are sub-themes. So for example, when it comes to selling your home, there's this whole idea of staging. How do I make my home look really attractive? So how do I improve my bathroom, put some new number signs on the wall outside, address signs or numbers, whatever, all that staging stuff. When's a good time to sell my home? What are the first steps? Maybe a checklist. And then how to choose an agent. When it comes to buying a home, it could be around what city should you buy in, or how to decide how to shop around for a home. What do I need to look for? Again, kind of a checklist. And then again, how to choose an agent. Money issues. Obviously, there's financing 101. So how do mortgages work? How do lending work? And what is the bank looking for? Mortgaging options, rental income, choosing a lender. So you get the idea. I start with my core theme, which is I'm a realtor and I'm in business. I'm looking for customers. I've got these sort of below that at least three themes. So selling your home, buying a home, or money issues. And again, you could continue on. There's lots of other themes, and then below that are sub themes. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 9 different themes that you can apply to your blog. In fact, anybody could apply to any blog. So let's get started. So the first one is an opinion post. So imagine in this sort of a imaginary scenario, I've created a blog for someone named Brooke Shield, and she's a leadership expert. And so it's a very standard looking website. So for an opinion post, it could be leaders or readers. Well, that's I think a Jim Rohn expression. It's a common quote, but now you can actually take that and start writing about why it's important to be a reader. How does that impact your performance? How to become a reader if you're not a reader? How to read if you don't have a lot of time? You get the idea. This could also become a list post. So you could turn it into 7 ways to become a reader as a leader. Second theme could be mistakes to avoid. So for example, are you ignoring your staff? Now, I like this one because this sort of relates back to the questions that your clients may be asking you. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? Also, it may be the sort of thing that your audience, if you're, for example, an author or a presenter or a workshop leader, it's the kind of thing that people really pay attention to, is the mistakes to avoid. So that's a great theme to always come back to. Just take what is the thing that you normally talk about, the kind of advice that you give, and flip that around and turn it into mistakes to avoid. All right, the third one is facts and statistics. Now, this is kind of a fun one to get started with because you can start with a little bit of research. So let's say, for example, your blog topic is 7 mistakes that even the best leaders make. Okay, well, I can do a little bit of research beforehand. So let's say, for example, I'll just jump over to my browser and imagine that I was looking for things to do with high converting headlines for our BlogWorks website. Okay, well, I come across this website, 5 characteristics of high converting headlines. I scroll down and I start looking for research. Where is there some facts or something that I can base the blog around? And what do I come across is, well, this is really interesting. So Content Marketing Institute reports that headlines with odd numbers like 3, 5, 7 have a 20% higher click-through rate. Great. So I can click on that, and now I can go to their website and I can start looking at the research that they put together, and that can become the basis of my my blog post. Okay, number 4 is research-based. So kind of similar, but now I'm going to go a little bit deeper, and I'm going to look for something that I can actually base the blog on that's actually empirical research or first research. So for example, maybe the blog topic I'm looking for is the psychology of top CEOs. Okay, great. Well, I head over to, let's see, Psychology Today. Oh, here's a great article about the cost of multitasking. You could be losing up to 40% of your productivity. Okay, great. So I scroll down, and what I'm going to look for is the link that actually refers to that research, that primary research. So I see a link here that goes back to another Psychology Today article, Psychology Today. So each time I do this, I can link in here, and then I want to go and I want to try and find the actual research that they talk about. And so let's see if I can kind of find something here. These are all Psychology Today. So here they're mostly what they're doing is they're referencing other research, or other articles on Psychology Today. So that's fine. I can start to go through this until I find something that's actually going to be a reference point that I can use in my blog. So that's the idea, is you just basically work backwards from articles to find out what's the research that they're basing it on. Number 5 could be resources. This is kind of a fun one. So for example, my annual top leadership podcast picks, you could do resources like apps, software, books, podcasts. So this is something really valuable for your audience. It's a break in your normal blogging themes, and it's something that you basically just have to look at, well, what is it that I'm consuming, and then share it with your audience. Number 6, a question post. So for example, are you growing as a leader? Questions provoke answers. In other words, when you ask a question, your readers will naturally try to answer that question, which is going to get them intrigued and hopefully get them to start reading that blog post. Number 7, a contrarian post. So for example, one of my favorite articles I read recently was from Ryan Holiday, a very successful author and blogger. And he wrote a post in The Observer, which is titled, "Dear Entrepreneurs, Please Don't Write a Book, We're Begging You." Well, that's pretty contrarian. Like normally people would be saying, hey, write a book, it's good for your business. Here he says, please don't write a book, we're begging you. And then he goes on to explain that really what he's concerned about is people that use services to basically crank out a book rather than actually go through the hard work of writing a book from scratch. And so it's a bit of a contrarian post. It got a lot of attention. It was very widely shared and risky perhaps. But on the other hand, if you want to stand out, maybe that's something that you need to do. Okay, so that's contrarian. Number 8, controversial. So kind of similar, but this is where you sort of take a bit of a stand. So for example, in my example here, why performance reviews are a waste of time. Another article that got my attention was from the author Cal Newport, and he had a blog post that came out recently, which is, are smartphones necessary anymore? Now he posed that as a question, but what he's doing is something kind of controversial because after all, we all walk around with smartphones. A lot of us are still getting used to the new technology of smartphones and all the new apps and all the new features. And here he is saying, well, really, is it necessary anymore? So another really neat way to carve up your main topic. In his case, he's all about productivity and minimalism, and to actually pick a theme and that is going to stand out because it's different than what we normally talk about. It's a different approach. It's controversial. Okay, back to number 9. Number 9 is a warning post. Now again, this is something that your audience may really like because it's the kind of thing that's going to make them sit up and think, oh, well, really, I wonder if I'm doing that. So for example, in my example here, it's if you're doing these 5 things, you are failing your staff. So that's a very pointed, opinionated type headline, but it's actually a bit of a warning. And I'm going to want to know what those 5 things are. Okay, so there you go. There's at least 9 different themes that you can apply to your blog core topic. Again, the core expertise that your readers are coming for, your prospects, your business are coming for. Here's 9 different approaches. Kind of freshen it up. Look at different ways to make your blog interesting, so keep those readers coming back. I hope you enjoyed that. Watch for other videos that we're creating to help you to be more effective and to put your blog to work. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.